They came from the chief priests and Pharisees. They came with lanterns, torches, and weapons. Now imagine yourself, we just saw an example of one officer coming to make an arrest. Now imagine there are just a few of you there and there's a whole crowd coming in. Our message today we call two kinds of courage because there were two people there who had courage. You see the torches coming. It's dark, it's night. Elsewhere, Jesus, I think it's Matthew, who says, I've been there. Why are you coming to arrest me like a thief? I've been out in the open. You could have gotten me easily, but you come as if you're taking a thief. This is your hour, the power of darkness. So the first kind of courage, I want to look at Jesus' side, and then I want to look at the other one, the only other one who showed big courage there. Jesus, therefore, verse 4, knowing all things that would come upon him, went forward and said to them, whom are you seeking? I like this picture of the little boy, Adrian, as he was looking out. I don't know what he was even looking at across this lake, but Jesus could look not just at what was right there in front of him that everybody else could see. He was able to look beyond that and see what's coming next, and after that, and after. He knew. He could have gotten away easily. And as we see in a moment, only John records proof of that. So they answered, Jesus of Nazareth, and he said to him, Elohimi, which is their way of saying, I am. And you notice the New King James Version translators put in he to make an English sentence, I am he. But this is the same kind of thing he had said back in John chapter 8, I am. And they picked up stones to throw at him. It can be used both ways. It can mean basically, yeah, I'm the one you're looking for. It also can mean I am, like God. Anyway, Judas, who betrayed him, also stood with them. That's the creepy part. Can you imagine a total stranger, as we saw represented, although it wasn't a stranger actually, we know this man. If you imagine a total stranger showing up, and you can be kind of concerned when this is that kind of scenario, but what if you look and you think, wait a minute, I know you. What are you doing with them? This one's sitting, Judas was standing, but you almost feel like that cold gaze. I might have been yours, but I no longer belong to you. That must have been a horrible feeling to see one of the inner circle of 12 just staring at him like, now what are you going to do, Judas? Now, when he had said that to them, when he had said to them, Elohimi, when he said, I am, they drew back and fell to the ground. So at that moment, when the words came out, they fell to the ground. Matthew, Mark, Luke do not tell this part, but John remembered clearly the power of God flashed forth from Jesus, and they could not stand in his presence. There was proof to them. You have power. We can only take you if you let us take you. But they nonetheless came after him. It's almost like you read in Genesis 14, right? You've got Lot there, and the guy's pounding on the door, boom, 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 boom. And then the angels strike everyone with blindness, and what do? I'm blind. No. They keep trying to beat down the door or trying to find it. They are so determined, even a demonstration of power from heaven does not deter them. And these people, boom, they fall down, and they just get right back up when the power of God is pulled back from them, and they continue doing what they came to do. He said to them again, whom are you seeking? And they said, Jesus of Nazareth. So the question comes. Those questions, if you think about them, are haunting, just like in the Garden of Eden. Where are you? Okay, who are you? Whom are you seeking? Jesus of Nazareth. I've told you that I am he. There's the Elohimi again. Therefore, if you seek me, let these go their way. There's courage. Jesus showed courage by just standing. He didn't run. Even though he had power, it's like, see, I've got power, but I'm not going to use it. In fact, if you read the book Desire of Ages, one thing that helped them calm down a little bit is, as the other gospel writers mentioned, that Judas gave Jesus a kiss of greeting when the soldiers saw, you can touch him and you still live. then they had the courage to come touch him. When you compare the gospel accounts, you can read that between the lines. That the saying might be fulfilled which he spoke, of those whom you gave me, I lost none. That's actually a combination of a couple of scriptures. I won't go there. So the second kind of courage is from Peter. I didn't really think about it until this week. Jesus and Peter were two people in the garden that both showed courage, and they overlap each other in ways that make me uncomfortable, and yet they also show how to and how not to. So Simon Peter, having a sword, drew it and struck the high priest's servant. Okay, Matthew, Mark, Luke tell that same thing. John tells one more detail. Well, okay, they all say it cut off his right ear. And the servant's name was Malchus. Only John knows these people well enough to know their names. He kept track of those things. In fact, later he'd use his knowledge of that inner circle of the priesthood to get Peter with him in to see part of the trial. Luke adds one detail. Luke tells us that Jesus picked up that ear and put it back on. Of course, one creepy detail for the soldiers, if I understand the gospel chronology right, Jesus healed that ear after his hands had been tied. So he showed his power a second way. Healed the ear, and then they had demonstrations that this man was not like anyone else they'd come to arrest. So you can imagine, I imagine the scene. You're not going to come down like this, in an attack. Probably he was going for a remove the head blow, and Malchus went like this. And he would be terrified. There'd be blood everywhere, and he might think he's going to die because he just took a sword stroke to the side of his head, and, it's just my ear, and then it's healed. And how must Malchus have felt? He's the servant of the one who sent the command, arrest this man, the high priest, right? So two responses. There's Peter and Jesus. They have some commonality that I did not consider before this week. Some things in common, both similarities and differences. Anyway, Jesus said to Peter, "Put your sword into its sheath. Shall I not drink the cup which my Father has given to me?" You see these two different directions. One for Peter, one for Jesus. You put your sword away. I have to drink this cup. So what do they have in common, including things similar and something dissimilar? One. Well, let me just go ahead. So what they had in common, and this looks like a friendly Peter with a sword, but he wasn't smiling that night, I'm sure. They both had strong courage. Look at this. For Jesus, when they came and he said, "I am he. Therefore, if you seek me, let these go their way." If he were to be the fearful kind of person, he'd want everyone possible, like Peter, James, Andrew, you go get this guy. Or you all surround me and I'll sneak out the back, whatever. But he showed his courage by, let these guys go. I'm the one you're looking for. Peter, on the other hand, showed his courage a different way. Peter, he comes out swinging a sword. Now think about it. Matthew, Mark, and Luke say it's a great multitude. They're coming with many, many, many all around, and you're one guy. You don't see Andrew coming up behind him, or Matthew, or any of these. He might have been thinking about, "Hey, Simon, you other Simon, the zealot, could you help out, man? You've got a sword too." But you don't see any record of him calling for help. He just immediately wades into the crowd and takes off the ear, probably meaning for the head, of the first person he can reach. That's tremendous courage. One man against a regiment. They had different kinds of power. Jesus' power, what was that? You see, suddenly the power came out of him and they fell to the ground. Peter's power, on the other hand, is he had the sword. Actually, that would be on the left side for a right-handed guy. And he pulled out his sword, and this is my power. I carry a weapon, I use the weapon when necessary. So they both, here's the one that really made me notice their similarities. They both were willing to die to save others. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John all tell about John's response. I'm going to go back to Jesus first. He said, "I'm the good shepherd, and the good shepherd gives his life for the sheep." Verse 15, I lay down my life for the sheep. Jesus already announced, I'm going to die for my people. Jump to verse 17. I lay down my life that I may take it again. Those are only examples, and I'm staying in John's gospel account. Matthew, Mark, and Luke tell the same stuff. I will die for the people. Chapter 10, verse 18, he continues by saying, no one will take my life away. Even when they crucified him, they did not kill him. He chose to die that day. And he could later choose to rise again. Peter, on the other hand, I shouldn't say on the other hand, in a similar way, he told Jesus, I will lay down my life for your sake. Matthew, Mark, and Luke record that. One of them, I think it's Luke, says, the others also said, we will die for you too. Yeah, right, they ran away. Only Peter went forward. The others ran away. And eventually Peter ran away too. But he said, I will lay down my life for you. And Jesus, at that time when Peter said, I will lay down my life, he said, will you lay down your life for my sake? Most assuredly, in Greek, that's amen, amen, actually Greek transliteration of Hebrew, I say to you, the rooster shall not crow till you have denied me 3 times. Peter couldn't imagine that, but it happened. I like the fact that when Luke told that story, Luke adds one more piece of what Jesus said. He said, Satan has desired to sift you like wheat, but, remember the rest? I have prayed for you. That's awesome. You're going to fail, but I've prayed for you, and you will be reinstated. Neither should he use his own power. Neither one should use his own power. So here are a few places where Jesus said first of himself in chapter 5. Most assuredly, again in Greek, that's amen, amen. I say to you, the Son can do nothing of himself. Jesus was God. But while he lived on earth, that power had to be set aside, and he had to receive power from above just like we do. He says this repeatedly in John's Gospel. But what he sees the Father do, whatever he does, that is the Father, the Son also does in like manner. So don't use your own power, Jesus. That's not why you came. You came to show us how to live by the power of the Father. The Father loves the Son and shows him all things that he himself does. That's interesting. The Father is revealing to Jesus. Jesus is learning it like we do. And the Father apparently had revealed to Jesus, they're going to come. You're going to stand. Your disciples will leave. And then this. Jesus already knew what the Father showed him. For as the Father raises the dead and so forth, even so the Son gives life to whom he will. Now I jump ahead. Jesus points at us. Chapter 15, remember the vine and branches thing? I am the vine and you are the branches. So just like the clusters of grapes, they only get their energy if they're attached to the main part of the vine. Jesus continues, he who abides in me and I in him bears much fruit. You know, that connection makes all the difference. If you are connected, you stay with me. You don't flee in terror. For without me, you can only do 20%. Wait, that's not what the Bible said? We live as if that's what the Bible said. It's him plus me, right? No, he does it all, and my cooperation is not earning me anything. It's merely showing, I'm with you on this. I'm with you. I belong to you. I do what you lead me to do. It's your power. Quick application. We focus on those 2 parts. Jesus, therefore, knowing all things that would come upon him, went forward and said to them, whom are you seeking? So he knew all things. I don't know all things, but God reveals to us our next one step. Sometimes a few more, but often it's one step, right? Do this, and if I don't do it, I don't know anymore. If I close the door on one thing, he has no reason to tell me another thing. So what do you know? Don't answer out loud, but what do you know that you feel that this is what you need to do next kind of thing? Like this boy Adrian looking out over the river or lake or whatever it is, this boy Adrian, he's thinking about what he's seeing, but what are we thinking about? God shows us even things we don't yet see physically. We see the next step. what is going to happen to you. So Jesus said to Peter, "Put your sword into the sheath. Shall I not drink the cup which my Father has given me?" What's your sword? What is the thing that you're depending on? It might not be a gun in your pocket. It might be your money. Well, I can always pay for what I need. Or it might be your influence. Well, if I don't have it, my influence will have people bring it to me. It might be your physical condition, your strength, or your vocabulary, or what is it you depend on? Your education, your job. What is your sword? And Jesus says, put that away. You don't lean on that in the time of emergency. Let God do in you, through you, for you, what needs to happen. What's your sword? What's the cup that Jesus had to drink? What's the cup that you have to drink? This short little 11 verses in John 18, for me it shows the contrast and the comparison between Peter and Jesus. He's got to work for you, even when it looks like everything falls apart. We usually have a call. I should have put this in a different place because the call comes with our final song. When, if you would like to be baptized, just come to the front while we sing it, but we're not singing our final song right now because it's Communion Sabbath. And we will have the opportunity first for what happened in John 13, the foot washing ceremony. So our ladies will stay in this room. The gentlemen will go downstairs. We have a place here where you can go down the stairs through the back here, or else around the building if you don't like stairs. If you want to participate as husband and wife over in the youth building next door, we have an opportunity to participate as husband and wife. We'll meet back here then for the emblems of Jesus' blood and body. And we don't have a bouncer at the door, so to speak. We leave it to you. If you belong to Jesus Christ, you're giving your heart to Him. You're free to participate with us in any or all of this. So we'll divide, and we'll be back here in a few minutes.